Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. So I was talking to. All right. Just echo. Echo. Oh. I think I got it. Echo. I'm gonna just start this off. Yeah. Hold on. So y'all can hear me right now. Clear as day, right? And it's not ending. Ain't that some shit? So this some hard. This is man. This is one of the ones where I wasn't expecting it, but it kind of like served me right. So first off, rest in peace to D Hunt. The only man that I ever called Step Pops. He's the only man I ever gave that title to. So it's not like the death of a dad, but that's the death of somebody, man. Like I always say, man, I was raised by a village. Like I didn't have wasn't no mommy, wasn't no daddy, none of that shit. That was just it wasn't. So we had uncles and big bros. That's what we had. And who knows how my time would have been. Who knows how my time would have been had I not bumped into him on the very first yard I ever went to. Who knows? I know he went through some he went through some stuff and kind of had a fall from grace to the point that they found him just like Monster Cody in the tent on Stockton Boulevard, Sacramento. Found old tent hut. So now I gotta kind of spread the word to those of us that still held him in somewhat regards. Like that some to the people that'll be sad to know that he didn't win he didn't pass on. There was a time we called that man the general. Called D Hunt the general. Damn, I gotta tell my mama. So I'm gonna just wrap out this live and play my favorite D Hunt video. Now, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? G Montana. Shout out to Scott. Shout out to Trey. Shout out to everybody else who's been tuning in. Shout out to the homie Couch. Shout out to everybody who got me on their playlist. Because man, that's what's up. So this story right here. This story right here. This story is about big homies. Big homies. The purpose of big homies when you come to prison. See, they get it misconstrued. A lot of young homies be thinking that big homies is there to take advantage of you. No, the big homie is there for you if you have questions, need help, just period, because you're going through something you don't understand. And if you's a gang member, I mean, there's bad seeds. Let's not get it twisted. There's bad seeds. The real to teach you, help you, and go and mold you, because their job is to make sure that you make it back home to your loved ones. So in a sense, I mean, we're responsible for you. Any as a young homie, anything you do reflects the car that you're a part of. And in most situations in California, because California is sectioned by races. So I'm gonna give you an example of the big homies. You get into it with a crib on the yard. Now, you didn't take off right there. As soon as you got back and forth, you didn't take off or whatever, or he threatened you. Pulled a knife. I mean, just shit in general. So the first thing you do, this is protocol, or a race riot, or another riot with another faction. You gotta go holler at the big homie. Hey, man, this motherfucker did this. This is what I want to do. And the big homie is gonna weigh it out, and he gonna be like, is this? Are you sure this is what you want to do? Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, but what the other big homie will do, is he's gonna go holler at the big homie from the other car. If it's another black car, it's another like a Bay Area or a faction inside your car or whatever, then he gonna holler at they big homie, and then they gonna be like, look, this is what happened, man. He want that fade, or this is what happened, and if he don't get that, this is what's really gonna happen. So this, because the big homies are there to prevent riots, prevent you from doing things that you gonna regret, or prevent you from really just fucking your life off. So the big homie gonna holler at they big homie, look, this is what it is, and we're gonna set it up. Then after it's done, it's no harm, no foul, go on about your business. That happens a lot more in prison than you'll get credit for. Because they like the big uncle portion when I was. When I hit my very first prison yard, I was 18. And I was lucky because my mom's ex-boyfriend was there on the yard. And he had me. So therefore, I already knew I would be in good hands. But I was the type that I don't care. I don't care. I don't care at all. But I remember I had to learn that my young ass ain't hit as hard as I hit me how to fight lightweight and how to throw punches and shit. But the big homie D Hunt was in the cell. He was hiding out in the cell so he can get out to the yard. So he said something, man. We used to get off on each other. That's what we used to do. Young homies, we getting off on each other. In my cell, we come in the cell, we was tied homies. But when D Hunt came down, man, he must have said something. I don't know why I did it. I regretted it. He tell me something and I fired on him. Bam! He looked at me, he said, nigga, boom! Man, when he hit me, I'm talking about he knocked all the pride out of me. Boom! You ever seen them shows where you see somebody throw a super punch and he be like, boom! Well, that first punch he hit me, it knocked it got me good. But I still was, I'm still, I got a little bit of pride left, so I fired back. Pat! His little punch was like boom. His punch was like boom. My little punch was like pat. So we fired, boom. I fired, pat. He fired again, boom. I'm like pat, boom, pat. Man, he was knocking thunder out my chest to the point where My celly had to step in and save me. When I was done, man, I looked at my motherfucking chest, and it was knuckle imprints in my chest. Knuckle imprints in my chest. D Hunt knocked fire out of my shit. After that, I was like, I gotta get my weight up. These OG niggas hitting hard. But shout out to all the older homies that laced me and helped me survive 17 years in that thing. Shout outs to all y'all, because all y'all played a part in me making it out of there without. I ain't never been stabbed. I ain't never been jumped. I ain't never been none of that. So shouts out to y'all, man. Shouts out to y'all, man. One love. Dirty one. Go.
Imagine if you had 50 plus sample packs.
All right, man. So I remember I was fortunate enough to meet up with him later out here in the world on a fluke. He just called me one day and was like, I'm in Florida, son. Where you at? I was like, damn, I be in Florida all the time. We linked up on the other side of the country. Me, him, and Trey. That dude that played on Nate Dogg's team, the team we smashed, that youngster. We met on the other side of the country. I remember being on a porch. We was in like something Titusville outside of Orlando, sitting on the porch swatting mosquitoes, having to burn like shrubs and shit because mosquitoes don't like smoke, drinking Hennessy, tripping off for life. This motherfucker D Hunt, I was looking at his motherfucking ankles. The motherfuckers used to be swelling. But I remember at the same time, I was like, this nigga's crazy. The stuff he was out there doing, so shit, I had to keep it moving. But when I hit tragedy, I called him and talked to him. Damn, man, I can't believe that nigga gone. Mm. You ain't got a wrench, Nate? I know what to do. Just needed to be reminded. My bootleg internet is lagging. All right. Thanks for reminding me. You should have never not had a wrench. So, my bad. My bad. So anyhow, man, the impact that people have on you at a certain time in their life is a pivotal thing. And each time that you go through a traumatic experience where you have to be reborn, and you have to be reborn. For example, going from the streets to the pen with a long time to do, you damn near got to be reborn. Like everything that you knew out there, man, it's irrelevant. You got to learn about life inside. and he just happened to be on that yard, man. And I always counted that as a blessing. Like he could have been anywhere in the system because the homies came up and said, "Do you know anybody?" And I said, "Well, I know D Hunt." They said he in 2 building. And next thing you know, he come running up the stairs, threw me a little stick. I looked at that little bitty joint like, this supposed to get all 3 of us high? Damn, Wicked was there and he gone too now. But man, they was like, yeah, watch it. Sure enough, that little bitty ass prison stick got us high. Changed my thinking. We didn't have some crisis on the yards, and I really watched. Like they called D Hunt the General, and I really watched him lead the car through crisis and all type of shit. But he was not perfect, not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. But for whatever reason, my mom loved her some D Hunt. She sure the fuck did. Loved her some D Hunt. And you know what? Because of the things, like if a person show you a whole bunch of crooked ass qualities and shit like that, whole bunch of snakish qualities, and you manage to see past that to them and have an understanding. It's kind of like that. Like I seen him do some foul shit. I seen him do like some great shit. But I didn't look at that. I just looked at him. But when it's the reason why we didn't coexist. And I believe like God keeps you away from people that don't mean you well. Or keep you away from people that you just don't, it's like oil and water. And I think that it's the reason why we didn't hang out, because I probably would have went right back to where I came from. But as far as respect and love, I got a lot of respect for that man, a lot of love for that, who he was, who he turned into. I don't know that person. I know the D Hunt that I met when my mom was secretly writing his ass. I came home, right? My mom was writing a letter, like writing a letter on the streets. And I tried to look over her shoulder and she was like, mm, mm, mm. So I pressed the issue. And then she showed me who it was. She was writing somebody named David. Ain't mean nothing to me. You know, hey, I'm on the streets. He in county. So ain't nothing to me. Next thing you know, I go to juvenile hall. Bam. Turn 18, go to the county. Bam. Get in a fight. They move me to the other floor. Bam. And he pop up at my door. Popped up at my door in the county jail. Oh, shit. Like, what's up, son? He was like, anything you need, I got you. Next thing you know, the dude that told on me, my mom's ex-boyfriend, he popped up at the door like, son, what you want us to do? Now, because I was young, you know, I didn't know no better. I didn't know politics. I didn't know how shit went. I'm 18. I ain't even got hair on my face. I was like, don't do nothing to him. He might be trying to change his story or something. I was young. I didn't know. And man, the very next morning, they beat the dog shit out that nigga. I'm telling you, they beat that nigga that told on me, cracked him with milks and all type of shit. So when he came back the next morning, he looked at me. Son, there's things that you're gonna experience, and he in so many words told me that I didn't understand, but one day I would. To do what y'all want me to do? I got that kind of choice? Hell nah. And he told me real quick. So then I was the county jail. So then he left. I go to Tracy. I go R.i.p Tracy, Salinas Valley level 4. I'm 18 years old. and they got me on a level 4 yard, one of the worst yards in CDC at this time. I didn't know. I didn't even know to be scared. I didn't know shit. This prison. I didn't know to be scared. Shit. I'm surrounded by people that love me. So shit, we gonna all go down in this bitch. I got some more support in here than I had on the streets damn near. Oh, D Hunt, man. That man lived his life the way he wanted to. That man was the that see, I always be calling always sometimes I call myself I'm the biggest kid I know. You got kids, you got biological kids, no, I'm the biggest kid I know. But I can say D Hunt, that was the biggest kid I knew. The biggest one. Hope this is okay to put out there. But Dirt helped me get some Taco Bell the other night because I ain't got no food. If anybody wants to, oh, that's man, I forgot his name. But that's the guy that's in the wheelchair. That remember we had that live and we looked out for him and I ordered the food live. He hit me on Instagram and I was glad to help. I didn't tell him. See, I tried to make it a little more special because I didn't tell him. He once he told me, I just I ordered it, tried to wait for it to get to his door, and then called him so then it'll ring while I was talking to him. I ended up having to call the DoorDash driver back because he didn't see it right away. But it's always good to help, man. You ever want to know how you get your blessings in life? By giving back and sometimes if you can give money, that's you getting off cheap. You want your blessings, you gotta give your time, your mind. Sometimes I mean shit. Man, there's a lot of people. All right, so I'm gonna close this live out. One more D Hunt story. Give me a minute. Let me find it. And all y'all that came through to hear this. I just found this out. It ain't even been an hour. And the homie that told me, he had been blowing my phone up yesterday to tell me, but I didn't answer the phone. Hold on. Hmm. All right. support the channel. Young Dirt 916 Cash App. Young Dirt 916 Cash App and D Weather at PayPal. That's D Weather 916 at PayPal. Support the channel, support the growth. Come. Also, with the support, with the small donations, whether I don't care, media shouts out to everybody that support the channel, support the growth. Go! How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling, man? So, these allergies be tearing me up. It be tearing me up. I'll be talking like this and shit going out the front. Man, I'm telling you, man, I can breathe out of one nostril. Allergies in Sacramento, well, they something else. But anyhow, this story right here, man.
Can y'all see the screen?
I'm telling you, everybody that's been in the pit, like a level 4 or something like that, they got a story. You're gonna see some stabbings. You're gonna see some stabbings. It's just ain't no way to get away from that. That just goes hand in hand with prison. So, this story ever seen like with my own eyes. And I had only been in prison like 2.5 weeks. I didn't even know this before I even know how to make a knife. This story right here, so check this out. See, in Salinas Valley, right, they had a blood hill. The history of blood hill is this. I mean, first it was a Sacramento hill. We deep. Sacramento, we deep as a core. So we had our own hill. And then all of a sudden, the LA Bloods started coming over to the hill, posting up with us. And then, next thing you know, one day they started finding knives on the hill. I'm like, knives, and we ain't burying that motherfucker. So it's like, this our spot. But, the LA homies came over there and, posted up and we got to bury knives. So, we was like, we about to move. Fuck this shit. And the homie took the homies over to another part of the yard. But that was still Blood Hill, though. So this is before the separation. The homie Bo, he come over to the homies. He like, hey man, that Mexican just hit that other Mexican in the face like hella hard. So just hit him in the face. So I'm just thinking, he did fired on, bam, like punched in his face. Cause I'm scanning the yard. The homie is narrating for me because I ain't been to the pen. This some gangster shit. He like, son. See him over there? He just hit him in the face, right? So he narrates. So I look over, and it was a Southsider shot caller. He had been, man, his face was leaking, all leaking. I was like, damn, he must have hit him hard, the motherfucker. Couldn't find out. My language was off. When they say he hit him, they don't mean he punched him. They mean he got stabbed in the face. So he was over there by the bathroom, leaning down from under the bathroom from the tower. So the tower couldn't see him, kind of squatting on one knee, and he wetting his t-shirt, kind of dabbing his face. But that ain't helping. He punched the whole in his face. So next thing you know, bam. So then 3 of the soldiers come. He like, son, see, there go the soldiers. They coming. 3 soldiers. They come. Mexicans, they Southside, they soldiers. They come and they check out their shot caller. Shot caller on one knee, like, man, it's bad. Man, they looked at him, you can see the play. They went and dug up their knives real quick. And the motherfucker that bust on the shot caller, he went across the yard, squatting down, like kind of like how Mexicans do, squatting down like that and whatnot. But he ready for whatever, though. You can see that big ass knife in his hand. He ready for whatever. So, in slow motion, son, like, see, okay, this is what's going to happen. Bam. He about to go for them right now. Next thing you know, man, they started marching. They was marching 3 deep, boom, trying to get to him. The dude that stabbed the shot caller, this was some power move. It was some power play shit going on. I was too young. I didn't know. I was just, So next thing you know, the 3 that's marching to the other dude that stabbed the shot caller, he stand up. And he kind of go toward the program office and put his back against the wall. And man, all I see was knives in the air. It looked like a video game. All the 3 was jugging, and then the dude that did the stabbing, he was stabbing back. I was like, shit, that's some gangster shit. He done took out the shot caller, and he's still holding his own. 3-on-1, like, fuck it, salve out. I was like, ooh, that shit is hella real. But the whole time I had my step pops at the time, I had them narrating the play. So me and Pops was kind of bonded by that first experience. But that was the first stabbing I ever seen with my own eyes, and that was still some of the realest shit I seen to date. Man. But anyhow, thanks for the new subscribers, man. I appreciate y'all. I see the numbers climbing, man. And I think I'm gonna get my cash app right, but I think it's Young Dirt 916 is my cash app, and then D Weather is my PayPal. D Weather is my PayPal, but I'm gonna get it right though. I'm gonna have the links. I'm gonna get all that shit right, man, because motherfucker be out here, telling these stories and shit. I do it for the love, to be honest with you. But sometimes it helps to get the love back. That's why I'm still getting these T-shirts and things in order, man. I'm just figuring out the right route to go. But
man, see, like when a person passes on and they left an imprint in you, they left a part of you with them. So when they die, a piece of you die. That's how I look at it. People that really meant something to your development in life. That nigga, that's what G-Way got, who be them real ones that got your back against the wall, you ain't got shit. In the pen, when you ain't got shit, that's the lowest of the low. Like, at least if you out here, you got your freedom. But in there, if you ain't got shit, you ain't even got a soup on your motherfucking shelf, you start to see who really your partners. You start to see what your worth is. If niggas can't come together like butt cheeks and make it happen for you, you might want to rethink your organization. Real. Man, that's a cold way to go, man. Found in a tent. Can y'all picture that? Found sleeping in a tent. There's a lot of lessons that I learned about survival that he taught me too. That's why you could think all you want that he was probably like shit, he was just a man. But at the point that he came into my existence, he was not God, but he was. I got to see him in his height of his career, and I got to see why they respected him. Me and D Hunt was cellies for the story, the white boy named Killer. That was probably one of and we worked together in the kitchen on top of being cellies. But the story that I'm about to drop after this live, the white boy named Killer, I'm changing the name to the hardest white man that I ever met on the yard. But me and D Hunt was right there on the yard. When that white boy started stabbing another white boy, Goofy, like 40 some times, threw the knife over the wall, then came back, started kicking him. I told y'all, man, me and D Hunt didn't talk. We didn't talk for about like 2 days. Finally, when he broke his silence, he was like, son, that really fucked me up, man. I didn't seen a lot. But that one right there, that one really like fucked me up, son. So all the stories that I'm dropping today all have some relevance to D Hunt. The most important lessons that I learned in prison that helped me survive, I'm talking about the gritty ones. The first time I got a bundle of weed in prison. First time I got a bundle of weed. I mean a big bundle. Me and him was cellies, right? He about to go home. He got like a year and some change left. And now I didn't got these drugs. He was like, son, let me just when we sleep, let me secure the bundle. When we wake up in the morning, I'll give it back to you. But we can't be loose like that, son. I got a release date, and you gotta stay out the hole. This is how you really do it. And taught me that gangster shit right there. And I kept that method of protection, and it kept me safe all the way until I came home. If I didn't know that, I wouldn't have been, I would have been willy-nilly all through the system. So there's lessons that he taught me that are still applicable to this day. I think one of the most important ones he taught me is that no matter what, if you lead in the army or whatever, people would think that they would want you to be godlike and perfect, but he taught me that you could still lead the army, but not be perfect. Cause I remember one time that nigga got drunk behind the wall, right? They call vocational programs that they be having behind the wall on the prison yards. Well, he was drinking back there, and him and Ragtime from Swans, Fairly Swans. This nigga, back there horse playing and shit. The alarm go off. Anytime they lay the yard down, that's a big deal. But these niggas, they lay the yard down because these niggas is horse playing, and that's a no-no on a level 4 yard. You don't do no horse playing. Fuck no, especially with police that'll shoot. That's the shit. That's a DP. Nigga hit the track, hit your burpees, do whatever, but don't do no horse playing on a level 4 yard. And this nigga get drunk and he horse playing. And he the big homie. But he not exempt from the rules and the regulations. So when he came from work, there was a Sacramento meeting waiting for D Hunt ass. All the young homies. Because that could easily have been a problem between Sacramento Bloods and LA Bloods. So we out there ready. LA Bloods out there ready. And these niggas come from behind the wall hugging and shit. And we over here turned the fuck up. But he came out, he was like, so what's the meeting about? We was all like, D Hunt, you owe us this motherfucking DP. Real shit. You know the rules. That nigga was, remember, looking back, we like little kids. We like 21, 22, trying to tell the OG trying to tell the big homie, like, nigga, run that in. But he seen we was serious. He was like, all right, I got y'all. Who coming first? Who coming first? Now I seen what he did to the tiny loco from neighborhood Piru. I seen what he did to him. I ain't heard it. That nigga knocked that nigga out about 3 times in that cell. So shit, this is DP, man. Shit, it might be a DP gone wrong. That nigga D Hunt was on chunkums. Man, shit. Right after the count clears, we go to dinner. Why did the homie Towton from Oak Park, because D Hunt is from Oak Park, why did Towton take it upon himself to go up there and try to DP D Hunt? All through the vent, all I can hear is, Pat, nigga, hit harder. You hit like a bitch. Pat, nigga, that's all you got. Boom. He was like, all right, OG, all right. Nigga, when we walked to Chow, right? After that happened, we walked to Chow. We was like, gangster, what happened? He said, nigga, I gave the OG everything I had. I tried. Ah, man. I miss that old man. I remember one time he told me every time I ever seen him do something that was reckless or crazy, or say something reckless or crazy, I'll be like, D Hunt, man, what's wrong with you? That nigga would tell me, I don't fear no man with dick and balls. I don't fear no man with dick and balls. Always stuck with me. Unfortunately, Dion had a lot of demons and ways, and it caught up to him. And he got hit 7 times, 7 or 8 times in the back while he was asleep, and survived. I knew he was sleeping, got lit up. Just picture that. You sleep. Somebody come and feed you. He got fed. And that nigga lived. Dion lived. Only to die in the tent. Fuck. At one time, I was one of the most strongest people I knew. Look at it like this. Like, as you are growing, you take the best parts from the best people around you, and you adapt them. The best parts, you have to look at it. People got two sides to them: the dark side, the bright side, the good side, the bad side. They got two, whatever it is, and it's your job to extract the useful, good things that will help you in your development in life. Real shit. I remember when I first hit the yard, I wanted to smoke. I didn't know nobody sold weed, so I asked D Hunt, I want to buy some weed. This nigga gave me a canteen list for $50. $50 was a lot. $50 was a lot. And that nigga had me go make a list. His partner was the man. I went to the store faithfully just to give me a little 50 ball. This nigga charged me 50 for a 50 ball. So why when I go up to go get my little bundle, why was that nigga biting into my sack? That nigga D Hunt was biting into my sack. This nigga been papping my 50 ball. I took it down to my celly. Celly was like, nigga, this ain't no 50. And he was like, and you called him Step Pops. So at that time, it became where I still had the respect for him, but I still had to live in reality. I still had to live in reality, and that was a lesson that I learned young. Young, like shit. Even though I call him Step Pop, shit, it get me too. That's why I say you gotta learn to extract the great qualities in a person that'll help you along your development in life. Ask yourself, what makes the great great? That's a good book to read. Google it. What makes the great great? There's certain qualities that they have that set them apart from everybody else. That helps them surpass mediocrity. It helps you tap into the things that make you different. That's what makes the great great. Because a lot of the people that are great, there's a borderline thing. I mean, there's a how could I describe it? They all have something in common. They all have a set of principles in common that they apply. One of them is they have a strong sense of self. Like they know who they are. They know who they are. That's one. Purpose. It's another one. Belief in self. What's another one? Resisting the temptation to get caught up in other people's schemes and things. You have to see your vision. You have to see your vision so strong that when people outside come and try to disrupt it, they bounce off. Boop, 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 boop. See, as you get older, it's about what you leave behind. It's about what you leave behind. And people always told me, you should write a book. You should write a book. Well, that shit is easier said than done because I already tried it. And I put so much in my heart into that book that when I lost it, I mean, it kind of like, it took a lot from me. So I said, I'll do one better. I create a channel and leave a whole dialogue to one day when I'm gone, the Dirty Nation blueprint, manuscript, and everything is all going to be right there from beginning to end. When I was doing the interview last night with Seti Nash, I was fucking Seti Nash up. He didn't know them things about me. He did not know them things about me. He fucked him up. Right? Homegrown. And again, I was confronted with the question, like, what made you start your YouTube channel? And what I realized is my answer be different a lot of times. Like, my answer be different because I don't really truly know. I just know that that the Dirty Nation was built on pain, hurt, and determination and boldness and stubbornness. All them books that I read inside, what happened is I wasn't applying them. I wasn't applying them books the first time I came home. Like I was just applying the ones that probably most benefited me. Like all these knowledge books and shit that I read. So when I came back, I was refreshing. I mean, I went in for my tune-up and got refreshed. Seen all my mistakes, all that shit. All the little what are those things called? Daily, the things that you tell yourself. The things that you're supposed to tell yourself every day, like that. The hell they're called. There were times I had to find motivation and drive solely in myself. That's another quality of what makes the great great. They're not afraid to be alone. Great people are not afraid to be alone. And I had many, 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 many months of solitude and solitary confinement. Affirmation. Positive affirmations. All these messages that we used to hear in songs growing up. A lot of that shit applies still to this day. A lot of it. Positive affirmations. I used to go to sleep with them in my ear. I went as far. I went that deep. Like they got affirmation apps that do like brain rewiring, and they do it because they do it while you sleep. Because technically, your brain is open. Like the portal to your brain is open when you sleep. So if you got stuff in your ear while you go to sleep, those messages, those positive affirmations, they're gonna get planted deep in the recesses of your mind, and then they're gonna come out. I think that in prison, when we used to read books and internalize it and talk about it, I think it's the same. It's the same thing because you don't have that many distractions that you would have out here in the world. Like here in the world, we got hella distractions, but inside there wasn't no distraction, so that shit was getting straight downloaded. So what I want to challenge y'all, as I recall these books I used to read, like the best parts of these books and how I apply, I want to challenge y'all. I want to challenge y'all to apply one of the four agreements from Don McGill. One of the four agreements. You can look the other three up for yourself. But I challenge you guys to be conscious of the trash can space in your mind. Because one of the four agreements to find the pieces that you can't allow other people to dump their garbage on you. Because a lot of people are walking around trying to dump their garbage so they can feel better. And it's only supposed to be a few people in your life able to do that. So if you got your garbage can open, your space open, and you taking on this unnecessary garbage or this outside garbage, shit. Then when you go to dump your own garbage, ain't gonna be no space in that motherfucker. How can you find peace with other people's garbage in your trash can? Should have been a counselor. You know what? I'm telling you, I seen a counselor, like I seen a psychiatrist most, I would say at a first 17 years, I would say pretty much from beginning to end, I was going through some type of therapy. But with the psychiatrist, it got to the point where I would just flat out tell him, look, you and every other psychologist before you all learn from the same manuscripts. Y'all all read the same books. You guys are learning to assess us. So therefore, I got you figured out. Like there's nothing in this. I read the same books you read. So why are we gonna sit here and you read from how are you doing today? All this basic ass shit. Why don't you tell me about life? I want to know about what's going on in the world. And we would bypass that. And it'll end up them talking to me about their problems. That's from years and years and years of talking with psychiatrists and all that shit. So, counselor, without even saying I should have been, I'm gonna say that I am. I'm already a counselor, man. If you only knew what the things I deal with outside of YouTube and inside of YouTube, I'm the person that people call when they got a problem. Oh yeah, when they want to talk about it or something. I always been a good listener. Always been a good listener. I'm gonna tell somebody about themselves though. If it don't make sense, it don't make sense, and I'm gonna tell you. They don't make it mandatory to see a psychologist, but they give you the option. Me, I wanted to get outside. In order to wiggle in that motherfucker, wiggle meaning get up out of your cell and move around and shit. You gotta be on. I was on every list, every list, every art therapy group, AA, NA, all everything they had. I was on that motherfucker. I was gonna have me a pass to get out to the yard. Especially when I went back, shit, I had a taste of freedom. I didn't like being in the cell if I didn't have to. You know, hey, but back to what you said, Debo. I'm gonna tell you why I wouldn't speak like what? Maybe I would, but I feel uncomfortable speaking at like talking to kids and tell. I can probably tell my story, but I don't feel perfect. Like I'm not perfect, and I feel that people that try to talk down to people in such a manner because of how they living, then you must be some kind of perfect or think that you are. Well, me personally, I don't feel I'm perfect. You know, I still got flaws and things. So I feel like I would be preaching a lie, I guess. I'm gonna tell you to do good. And I'm smoking weed. Only thing I can tell you is how I did it. And if you learn from that, then shit, good for you. I think people learn from you when you your most authentic self. That's when they get them jewels they could take with them. I'm a psychiatrist. I'm just not licensed and don't get paid. It's charitable. In the grand scheme of things, inside, you get to learn shit and apply it immediately because you are immediately surrounded by so many different personalities that everything you learn, you go try it out, apply it, it works, check, put it in the bag. Old Folsom, at any given time, you had access to like 4,000 inmates. That's a lot of different personalities. So what I did, what I adapted, what helped me is, man, I live in reality. It's called, in the book that I learned it from, it's called Intense Realism. But I really live like I try to live in reality. I see things for what they are. Try not to bite into schemes and things and stay grounded on what I believe, no matter what. I remember the homies used to be like, not a lot of them, but it was like the ones that I let really get close to me, they'd be like, it'd hit them out of nowhere. They'd be like, Dirt, nigga, you use a square. I'd be like, you know what? Yes, I am. Yes, I am a square. But it wasn't that I was a square. It was that I was comfortable with who I was as a person and stood on it. I might not have been the average typical person that was involved in the streets. I always was a dreamer. I always thought far ahead and thought differently. And I just stayed that way. Rest in peace, D Hunt, man. All right, man. Y'all have a good one. I ain't ran it like this in a minute. but I have to speak from the heart. So that way, I hate to say it, but I dump my garbage on y'all. My bad. Dump my garbage on y'all. So therefore, I can have a better day. D Hunt's in the safe. I mean, he's in a better place now. I could say he lived life his way. He lived it his way. So rest in peace. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for listening. Dirty. Go.